Hey, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. It's Tuesday morning, which means another Masternode Shootout update video. This is for week 12. Can't quite believe we're at the end of the first quarter of 2019 effectively already. It seems to have flown by the previous quarter. So before we jump into the figures for this week, just a few bits of housekeeping to make you aware of. And it's been quite a turbulent week. So I've had a number of problems with some of these kind of masternodes this week. Some of them were my fault, some of them weren't. So let's start with Bulwark. So Bulwark had an upgrade that I actually performed the upgrade on both the Masternode and local wallet some time ago when it was first launched, but it was enforced on the network about a week ago, and basically my Masternode went missing. Now I went onto the Discord group and I tried some of these suggestions there, nothing helped, so I ended up having to run the refresh script again. This is the third time unfortunately I've had to run it on Bulwark this year. And there were some people in the Discord group. It seemed to be a bigger problem than just kind of mine. A lot of people were having masternodes go missing. So it wasn't just me. A lot of people were saying, oh, it's because you're on a Vulture account with just 1 gig of RAM. But that wasn't the case for everybody. Some people on really quite beefy kind of servers had the same kind of issues. And the reality is that a lot of people were saying, oh, well, Vulture's not as good as it used to be, which may or may not be true. I haven't had any issues. But the one thing I would say is that the only issues I've had are with this Bulwark masternode. I don't have any other of these 6 masternodes or any of the other masternodes I run that have problems with that particular service, and I've been pretty happy with their service over the last year or so. So yeah, a little bit disappointing, but we missed a couple of days because when you do a refresh you get stuck to the back of the kind of queue, so we probably missed a couple of days worth of rewards with Bulwark. Smartcash, that was completely my fault. It was a bit embarrassing really, but I did an upgrade to the latest 1.2.8 local wallet a while ago. This was before I set up the new Smartnode, and I rebooted my desktop machine. What I didn't realize is that I used the installation script on Windows for this latest version of the wallet, and it installed onto my C drive, whereas my previous wallet was on the D drive, and I wasn't really paying attention. I rebooted my machine, forget why, I think there was an update of something, and then I used the shortcut link on my desktop, which of course linked to the old wallet. I didn't notice. I went into the Masternode tab and my Masternode was missing. In effect, it wasn't. It was because I'd actually opened up an old version of the wallet, so it was a bit kind of stupid. And then I had a few kind of issues, tried to kind of restart it. Anyway, the upshot of that was that I had to reinstall my Smartcash Smartnode. So again, I lost a kind of couple of days. It wasn't Smartcash's kind of fault. This was just me being a bit stupid. And then finally Helix. So there was an update for Helix which was enforced again about a week ago, and a lot of people got booted onto a separate chain. So I ended up having to, I was on the right chain for a while, and then I eventually ended up on a different kind of chain and had to reinstall from a bootstrap file, both for the local wallet and the Masternode. But I'm back on the kind of correct chain now. So we did lose a little bit of basically a few Masternode rewards for both Bulwark, Helix and Smartcash this last week. But despite that, it's been a pretty positive week overall. Let's have a look at the figures for the last week. So starting at the top of the list with Vulcano, we can see 1,068.75 coins worth $2.32, 71.09 Bulwark worth $5.44, 216 Helix worth 77 cents, 16,000 Linda. Seems to be a solid 16,000 every week for Linda. Seems to be a very reliable and sort of steady interval between kind of payouts. Always seems to be about 16,000. So 16,000 Linda worth $5.23, 453 Smartcash worth $4.99, and finally Syndicate 53.9 Syndicate worth $1.33. So that's a grand total this week of $20.08. Nice to see that we're back over the $20 mark. If we have a look at the graph of the last 12 weeks, we can see we've had this basically a big kind of pullback in kind of prices over the first kind of like 8 weeks, and then a little bit of a reversal. This last 2 weeks we've had our Smartcash Smartnode go back live, and we had a few weeks here without a smart node at all, our Smartcash Smart Node, when the collateral changed. But apart from this outlier here, we had these first few weeks where everything was quite good. Then we had that catastrophic kind of price decrease for kind of Bulwark when the team left. Now Bulwark price seems to be recovering a little bit week on week, seems to be kind of inching back up, but we had this big sort of like decrease in kind of profits, leading to this week 8 where we were very, very low, and then we've seen a bit of a kind of increase back from there. So hopefully this will continue to increase. Hopefully we'll have a nice sort of steady week next week of Masternode returns with no kind of issues and no kind of problems. But if we jump back to the table, we can see the total reward so far. So this is, as I say, week 12 now, $234.92 total rewards. And congratulations this week to Helix. If we have a look at the percentage return, 2 coins now, Helix and Syndicate in the black. Helix has had a phenomenal week. It's had a massive spike in price. Now, it is an incredibly low cap coin, as I've kind of mentioned before, so we will see these kind of like wild swings in kind of prices, but went up massively this last week. I think we went from about 20% down to 130% up at this point, so it's more than doubled in value since the beginning of January as of midnight last night. So Helix back in #1 position. It was down in 5th position last week, had a pretty poor week. Syndicate dropped from 1st position to 2nd, but it's still in the black. It's done pretty well. It's a nice solid coin. Doesn't cost a huge amount for a masternode, or we're looking at about $130 for a masternode, and it's a really reliable masternode and also staking coin in my experience over the last sort of 18 months or so. In 3rd position we've got Linda down from 2nd position, Smartcash down to 4th from 3rd. They've all dropped 1 position as Helix has jumped atop of them. Vulcano down to 5th. It's only a few weeks ago that Vulcano was doing pretty well. It was Vulcano and Helix that were vying for the #1 spot for week after week, but it's had a little bit of a decline in price over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks. And finally, Bulwark in 6th position. As I said, it is regaining some of its kind of losses. Seems to be kind of gaining back over the last sort of month, probably about 2 or 3% a week at the moment. So hopefully that will continue for Bulwark. There's a lot of activity from the community who've taken over the coin from the original kind of development team. So we can see the total rewards so far this year, 6.52%. So that's looking somewhere around the sort of like 25% across all the coins in total for the year at this point. But don't forget, it should be a little bit hopefully higher than that, because our Smartcash Smart Node was down for, we're at 100,000 collateral now, but the first sort of month or so, month and a half, we were at 10,000 collateral. Then we had maybe a month without any Smartcash Smart Node at all. Vulcano came to the party a week or 2 late because we were going to have a chroma, but it stopped paying out right at the beginning of the year. So anyway, excuse me. That's it for this week. I'll be doing a full update video, as I mentioned yesterday, later this week. So I'll be going over the first quarter returns for all the different kind of revenue streams I talked about at the beginning of the kind of year, and sort of going through what my plans are over the next kind of few weeks and months. But thanks very much for watching as always. Give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Ask me any questions in the comments below, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye bye.